So I'm going to use my new favorite word then. Whilst you do the warm-up problem, which is basically just a fancy way of saying get to work on the warm-up problem. So while you're doing the warm-up problem of -5 minus 5i to the fourth power using de Moivre, I'll talk about some other things that you can just listen to with your ears while your eyes and your brains and all the other things in your hands do all the work. So, we have our team meeting, our pre-calc team meeting, and we decided yesterday that we are going to have a complex numbers and polars test on May 1st. Now, there's a rumor out there that I said we weren't going to have a test, and I said we hadn't decided yet if we were going to have a test. We decided we're going to have it. Okay? So, not May 1st. Tap the brakes. You can't see it. May 11th. Okay, we'll move this down here. There, now you can see it. I'm like, we're going to have a test yesterday on stuff that you haven't learned yet. Get it? I understand. Phil, come on, Phil. Anyway, so May 11th, which is next week, Thursday, we're going to have that. Your final is definitely going to be on the 16th and 17th of May. That's locked in stone. Okay? We got to get that done on those days because we have to grade them before the seniors leave because you have to determine if you are going to take the credit or not take the credit. Okay? So we've got that. So those days are now locked in. Okay? Good times. So if I'm going to use de Moivre, the first thing that I've got to do is I've got to put it into trig form. Okay? So this in trig form would be 5 square roots of 2 cosine I sine of, what would that be? Negative 225 degrees. Do we all agree with that part? Okay? Because it's on the complex plane, it's 5 to the left and 5 down. That means I'm in quadrant number 3. Because they're both the same, the inverse tangent would be 1, so my reference angle is 45 degrees. So that puts me at 225 or 5 pi. Okay? Then de Moivre tells me then that z to the 4th power would be 5 square roots of 2 to the 4th power cosine I sine of 4 times 225 degrees. 5 square roots of 2 to the 4th power is going to be 5 to the 4th power, which is 625 times 2 times 2, so times 4. So 625 times 4 is 2,500. Okay? So this would be 2,500. 4 times 225 is 900. 900 is 2 extra laps around, and it should leave me with 180 degrees. 900 minus 720, because that's 2 laps, is 180. Okay? questions on it. And we can leave it like that, or if we wanted to put it in standard form, we would say 2500 times the cosine at 180, that would be negative 2500 plus 0 pi. Or we would also accept there that, negative 2500. Or if we wanted to put it in ordered pair form, so you have to be ready on said test on May 11 to put them in one of the three forms. Okay? Good times. All right, so today is roots day. We're going to be taking roots of complex numbers with our good friend Help from DeMont. Okay? So my question to you is, if I gave you this 2x plus 3, and I said solve it, give me the answers, because that's really what roots is. Roots is finding an answer, correct? What would you do for this particular one? What would you do? Subtract 3 from both sides? Yep. We would subtract 3 from both sides. Good with that. Then that would give us 2x equals negative 3. Divide both sides by 2. Giving me x equals negative 3/2. And that is the root of that equation, the root of that problem, the solution to that problem. Okay? What would you do over here? X squared equals 16. You could square root both sides, right? Okay? So if I square root both sides, what do I get on the left side? I get x. What do I get on the right side? The kicker is the plus or minus. Plus or minus, because there's 2 of them, because positive 4 squared gets me 16, negative 4 gets me 16. So those would also be kind of like what we're doing today, where we're going to be taking the square root of both sides, or the third root of both sides, or so on and so forth. Remember, in the maths, that your biggest exponent equals the number of answers that you're going to have to get. So back in this first problem, our biggest exponent was 1. So we only got 1 answer. Here in this one, our biggest exponent was 2. So we got 2 answers. Down here, in this one, how many answers do I need to get? I need to get 2. Now, it's not factorable, so I'm not going to waste our time with factoring it with the quadratic formula, but just know that we would solve this using opposite of b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, and the 2 roots would come from right here. 1 would be plus, 1 would be minus, or the 2 solutions, or the 2 answers would come from that. Okay? So we would still get 2 answers for that one. Okay? Over here in number 4, how many answers am I supposed to get? I need to get 3 answers because 3 is my biggest power. Okay? This one is factorable, so we'll quick do that one. X squared minus 3x plus 2. And then we would get x, and then x minus 2, and x minus 1. And then we would say x equals 0. There's one of them. X minus 2 equals 0, so x is equal to 2. X minus 1 equals 0, so x is equal to 1. So those 3 right here, 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 and here are our 3 answers. Okay? Alright. Let's apply that now to something that looks like this. How many answers should I get in this problem? I should get 3, right? Okay? Because I would first subtract 8 from both sides, and that would give me x cubed equals negative 8. And then I should take the cube root of both sides, right? And I get x here equals negative 2. What's wrong with that? It's a cube root, yeah. The cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. So what's wrong with that? It's only one answer. I need 3 of them, right? Where are the other 2? Oh, they're complex. So we've got to do this a different way. Okay? So I'm going to back up to this step right here. Okay? And I'm going to say self. Let me scroll down a little bit on my cheaters. Yep, there we go. Okay? So I'm going to say self. Let's say by taking the third root here, that's really saying that x is equal to negative 8 to the 1/3 power. Would you agree with that? Okay. Well, power. We've been using powers lately, right? We just did a warm-up problem with a power. Okay. So let's convert this into trig form. If I convert that into trig form, that's going to be negative 8 plus 0i, correct? Well, that is going to be 8 cosine I sine of what would my angle be for trig form? What would that angle be for this complex number? Negative 8 plus 0i. Don't even need to do any calculation. 180. 180. Because on the complex plane, negative 8 is straight out to the left, plus 0i keeps me on that axis. So 180 there. And that is still being taken to the power of 1/3. Okay. What does de Moivre tell us we can do now? What does de Moivre say we can do? 8 to the 1/3 power What do you got? 180, or 1/3 times 180? Right? Okay. So 8 to the 1/3 power is how much? 2. 1/3 times 180. 60 degrees. Okay? So that is one of my answers. Which would be approximately right there. Right? Now, you guys found this one before, when we were doing that one before, that would be right there. In terms of trig form, that would be 2 CIS of 180 degrees. Do you agree with me on that? Okay, so there's 2 of the 3. How do you think we can find the third one? What? No, because in trig form, the r is always positive, and then the cosine of 180, that would give you the -1. Okay, if I add them, what would that be? 240, right? Which would put me right about there. Does that look like a nice, pretty outline, or no? Okay, so probably not there. Where do you think approximately it would be? I'm going to start at the blue, and I'm going to go clockwise, no, that's counterclockwise around back to my maroon. You tell me where you think approximately I should stop. Still coming around. Still coming around. Right about here? Does that look nicer? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. My question is this. What degree is that going to be? I agree that it should be down in here somewhere. I agree that it should be 2. I agree that it should be cosine I sine. What do you think the approximate degree should be? Why 300? What's this gap here? 120, right? What's this gap here? 120. What's this gap right here? Oh, 120. And now each of those is broken up into 120. If we keep going counterclockwise. Okay? Right? So that's how we find it. So, we need a plan, and we're going to simplify that plan. Okay? Right? So it's a 4-stepper. Okay? So actually, no, it's going to be a 3-step. So step number 1 is we are going to, we'll call it step 1, but we're going to root it. Meaning, I want this to be x equals 27 to the 1/3 power. We rooted it. Okay? Step 2 says we're going to trig it. So I need to turn 27 into the trig form of a complex number. So that's going to be 27 cosine I sine of what degree? Let me back up a step. This would be 27 plus 0i. So it would be what? 0 degrees. Everybody with me on that? Go ahead, Nancy. So that, so this is 27 is just a straight up real number, right? So in standard form of a complex number, then that would be 27 plus 0i. Still 27, right? In trig form of that complex number, it would be my r value would be 27, and my angle would be 0 because I'd be going straight out to the right 27, not up or down. Okay? Right? So we have trigged it now. Okay? Now what we're going to do is it M? How do you spell Moff? Is it M or is it M-A? He's got such a goofy name. M-O-I-V-R-E. M-O-I-V-R-E, it. Okay? So now we're going to demov it. So demoving it says this is going to be 27 to the 1/3 power CIS of 0, oops, excuse me, capital L breaks, 1/3 times 0 degrees. Yes? (27 to the 1/3 power). 3. 1/3 times 0. With me on my first root. Yes? Okay? Now, here's our fourth and final step. We're going to take 360 degrees and we're going to divide it by the power. So in this case, 360 divided by this power, my original power, or the root, the number of roots I'm taking. Okay? So 360 divided by 3 is how much? 120 degrees. So to get my other two roots, I'm going to add 120 to that angle. Then I'm going to add 120 to that angle. Oops, Went 120 plus 120, and I got 120. If I add another 120 to it, where am I at? I'm at 360, which is also 0, and I'm back to my start. Okay? And those are the 3 roots of the 3 answers that we need to get for this problem. Okay? I want to say, yep, that's what I thought. I thought this was the last one, so we'll do it together. Okay? We want to find the 5th roots of this number. Okay? So how many answers are we going to have in this one? We're going to have 5 answers in this one. Okay? Now, some of you are going like, Lynn, that's 5 pieces of work. It's 4 steps. What was step number 1? Root it. So we're going to want in this problem, we want negative 16 plus 16i square roots of 3. We want to take that to the 1/5 power. Right? We want the 5th roots of it. We're taking it to the 1/5 power. What was step number 2? Trig it. What is negative 16 plus 16i square roots of 3 in trig form? $32 is my R value. Coming over here, we're going negative 16. We're going up 16 square roots of 3, right? So that means that this angle right here is, no, that one's the 60.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's what? It's 120. Okay? So we rooted it. We trigged it. Now what do we have to do? We got to demob it, right? Okay? So demob says we're going to have 32 to the 1/5 power times the cosine I sine of 1/5 times 120. $32 to the 1/5 power. 2 1/5 times 120. 24. So that's my first root. Step number 4 says what? $360 divided by power. What's my power? 5. So 360 divided by 5 is 72. And I got to add that to it, right? 2 CIS of plus 72. 96. 2 CIS of, add 72.
168.
168. 3. That's my third root. Come on down for me. X sub 4, my fourth root. 2 CIS of, add 72 to it. 240, right? Fifth one, 2 CIS. Add 72 to it. 312. Quick check. Add 72. 384. Outside first lap, subtract 360 puts me at 24. We're back to where we started. There, ladies and gentlemen, are the 5 roots of negative 16 plus 16i square root of 3. Okay? Root it, trig it, demob it, add your 360 divided by the power until you get back on. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? For the second half of class today, first off, on your pink sheet that we gave you like last week, okay, you can now do the back side. You can do the back side of that pink sheet. But for the second half of class today, we are going to take a formative. Yes, Mad Dog, I know. I'm excited about it too. So excited that last night I left my bag in my truck at a repair shop with the formatives in it. So I had to quick run to the repair shop today to get my formatives. But, crisis averted, still made it back in time for Mrs. Hill's first class to take the formatives. Oh, yay! You need a calculator is all you really need. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There's one typo on said sheet. I know. I clearly blame whoever was supposed to proofread it last night, but instead left it in his truck at Toys for Trucks. I get it, Finn. I blame that person too. Okay? There is one typo. The second Z at the top should be Z sub 2, not Z sub 1 and Z sub 1. They're different. You don't have to, unless you want to give her space.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be a nice person. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So the second one at the top is Z sub 2. When you are finished with the formative, you can put it in your grading teacher's basket because we're going to get them back to you tomorrow or Thursday. You and something fell off, and I didn't want to worry about it. Emily, don't be scared. The first 2 are not pretty in terms of their numbers. Once again, had I proofed it,